what do all those awesome plays lead to for Justin Jefferson? A record-setting 4-year deal with the Vikings that includes $110 million in guaranteed money, $140 million overall, as he is now the highest-paid wide receiver in the NFL and the highest-paid non-quarterback. As we welcome you to NFL Live, great Monday for JJ and Vikings fans. I'm Hannah Storm alongside Mina Kimes, Sam Acho, and Dan Graziano. Obviously, this is the big story of the day. Justin Jefferson performing at a high level that no one in history has reached before. He's averaged over 98 receiving yards a game, more than 10 yards ahead of any other player with 50 games. The other names on this list, obviously productive in their own right. Hall of Famer Calvin Johnson is next, but JJ, as you can see, is far and away the leader. So, Dan Graziano, this is a deal that a lot of people felt would get done at some point. How did it get done?
Yeah, Hannah, sometimes it's obvious, right? I mean, just look at that list, and he's first on it. Wide receivers getting paid this offseason, and he's the best one of them, so he gets the most. This is a situation where Justin Jefferson, as he alluded earlier in the offseason, was hoping to become the highest-paid non-quarterback in the league, not just the highest-paid wide receiver. So prior to today, that title belonged to Nick Bosa of the 49ers at an average of $34 million a year. Now Justin Jefferson on his new extension, 4 years, $140, is at $35 million a year. So once the Vikings were willing to do that, it's really just a matter of ironing out the structure, the guarantees, etc. A deal this size obviously takes some time. They wanted it done before the start of the mandatory minicamp. For the Vikings, that is tomorrow. So they just beat that deadline.
Makes a lot of sense, Mina, as to why they would lock him up for years. Why was it particularly important with a rookie quarterback now, J.J. McCarthy, in the fold?
Yeah, Hannah, I mean, Justin Jefferson getting this contract was a no-brainer before they drafted a quarterback, but I would argue the presence of J.J. McCarthy, young in his NFL career, makes it even more of a no-brainer because of what Justin Jefferson does for him. You know, when we talk about rookie quarterbacks and what it takes for them to succeed in the NFL, a couple things come to mind. We ask play callers to build an offense that caters to their skill set, and then we want them to get comfortable with playing within structure, but also occasionally taking risks. Jefferson allows you to do both of those things. His ability to run every route from every alignment to every part of the football field at such a high level is, I think, what makes him so unique. And if you're Kevin O'Connell, what it means is you can figure out, okay, what is J.J. McCarthy comfortable with? What throws is he good at making? And then proceed from there. And then as far as playing within structure, as a young quarterback, you want to learn to throw with anticipation, trusting that your receiver is going to get open quickly and catch the ball. Jefferson and his contested catchability and quick separation allow you to do those things. It's like what we saw with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. As a young quarterback, if you have that trust in your receiver, it allows you to develop as a result. So I love this for Minnesota, love for Jefferson, but I particularly love it for J.J. McCarthy, who walks into one of the better situations we've seen for a young quarterback in quite some time.
And Mina, it's not just trust. To your point, it's also timing. Think about the timing that Justin Jefferson may get into and out of his breaks. Now, all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy is going to get a chance to work on, yes, the foundational pieces of an offense, but also building that trust, timing, and consistency with Justin Jefferson. Why do I say that? Just a couple weeks ago this offseason, I got a chance to watch Justin Jefferson train. He was training with his college wide receivers coach, working on getting in and out of his breaks. And so each receiver has a different method of getting out of their breaks, even whether it's a quickness aspect or whether it's how fast they can even accelerate through a break. And so now, all of a sudden, your rookie quarterback has an opportunity to not only learn from a receiver, but one of the most dominant receivers over the last several years. And so I think the timing and the trust are going to be critical for J.J. McCarthy, but a huge foundational piece for this Minnesota Vikings organization moving forward.
Oh, yeah, a guy who led the league in catches and receiving yards a couple of years ago before he got hurt. Even last year, before he was hurt, he had even better numbers. And he is only 24, doesn't turn 25 until June 16th. Tyreek Hill posting this after the deal. Jay Jettis, that's well deserved. Be interesting to see what happens with Hill. He has no guaranteed money left on his deal after this year, so clearly he has an eye on the receiver market as well. All right, let's keep going. Who is the next to get paid? Well, San Francisco's Brandon Ayuk wants a new deal. He has stopped short of any kind of trade demand. He went 3 picks after JJ, and the 2020 draft. He's entering the last year of his rookie contract, set to make just over $14 million. What about Jefferson's college teammate at LSU, Jamar Chase? 5th overall pick in 2021, extension eligible for the first time this offseason, in line for his own mega deal from the Bengals. Another potential winner? Who knows? CeeDee Lamb, latest in a long line of Cowboy wideouts to succeed at number 88. Drafted 5 picks before Jefferson in 2020. This is the last year of his rookie contract. So if we are playing the comparison game, Lamb actually has more career catches than Minnesota's $140 million man. He also has more touchdown catches than Jefferson, both the total number and as a percentage of his team's touchdown. He's one of several Cowboys looking to get paid, of course, along with Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons. So the Cowboys begin their mandatory minicamp tomorrow. We might have some holdouts. We might have some hold-ins, Graz. What's the situation with Lamb?
Well, the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb have been talking about an extension, and their hope would be to get it done soon. Their mandatory minicamp is this week as well, and we have seen players in the past skip that mandatory minicamp and incur the fines that go along with that because they know what's waiting for them at the end of the day with the contract. So I don't know for a fact that CeeDee Lamb would do that, but if the Cowboys want to avoid that possibility, then I think they're under the gun to get it done now. And look, frankly, with the Justin Jefferson deal done, it shouldn't be hard for the Cowboys and CeeDee Lamb to get to an extension. That chart you just showed is one thing, but I think if you look at the whole big picture of the 4-year careers, you would still rate Justin Jefferson ahead of CeeDee Lamb. I think most people would. So I think it's a matter of CeeDee Lamb coming in a little bit behind where Justin Jefferson landed in terms of average annual salary. The question is going to be about structure, and we've seen this in the past with the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. How hard does the player and the agent push back against the team's preferred structure? That can go a long way toward determining the timing of these deals. But the Cowboys want CeeDee Lamb signed. He is the most pressing of the 3 you just mentioned because he's the one who hasn't been around for OTAs.
And Dan, to your point, I live in Dallas, and so like this deal might be happening now. Why do I say that? There's some kind of truck outside of my house right now. Maybe it's the trees in the storm they're picking up, or maybe it's a Brinks truck that's trying to meet CeeDee Lamb and get this deal done before the next player gets done. I was just looking at stats over the last several years, and CeeDee Lamb, yes, early in his career, he wasn't that number 1, but look what he did last year, set a new record for receptions. Look at what he did last year, set a record for the Cowboys for receiving yards. And so if you're paying Justin Jefferson based off what he's done the last 4 or 5 years, or really 4 years, then you look at CeeDee Lamb, you're saying, okay, we didn't really have you that much year 1, but then the last several years, you're actually outperformed in certain categories Justin Jefferson. And so if the Cowboys want to get that deal done, they need to get that deal done now because the price is going up and up and up. And Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and Jamar Chase, probably the 3 guys that are in that category to get that high-level value.
Yeah, it feels like the longer this goes on, the Cowboys are like that kid in class who keeps asking for an extension, where their competitors, the Eagles, got both of those deals done with receivers early, and by comparison, I have to imagine the fan base isn't particularly happy because while CeeDee Lamb in a vacuum might not rank above Justin Jefferson, I would probably have Jefferson above him, his importance to the offense is, I would argue, if not even more comparable because of the pieces around him. Justin Jefferson in Minnesota, you've got Jordan Addison, who I thought was fantastic in Jefferson's absence last year. TJ Hawkinson, who's one of the best tight ends in football. And you haven't really had that number 2 emerge behind Lamb. I like Jalen Tolbert. We'll see what he does this year. But for the most part, it is the CeeDee Lamb show in Dallas. He knows that. His agent knows that. Without him, this offense would be really, really pressed, and I have to think they're using that as leverage.
I'm just fascinated by what kind of truck might be outside Sam Acho's house in Dallas. I mean, that's something we need to look into.
Hey, Hannah, I'm fascinated too. Now, mind you, there's been tornadoes and storms, all those things. There's trees outside, but I'm over here like, guys, I'm doing a show. And I looked outside. It's not a Brinks truck, but it's about the size of a Brinks truck. But they might be a couple doors down from CeeDee's house. Give him CeeDee's address.
Well, if it's not a Brinks truck, then we're fine. Then we'll move on.